Hey Princeton Tigers. So we're doing the same thing today that we've done for the past week. We're reviewing one-step and two-step equations. First question says, what is the inverse of addition? The inverse of addition is subtraction. Next, what is the inverse of subtraction? The inverse of subtraction is addition. What is the inverse of multiplication? Division. And then what is the inverse of division? Multiplication. Now looking at our first few problems, x plus 7 equals 13. What operation are we doing? Now remind me, what is our goal when we're trying to solve equations? We're trying to get this x by ourselves. So because we're doing addition, in order to get x by itself, I need to undo that addition. How can I undo addition? Subtract 7. What am I left with on this side? X equals, what am I left with on the other side? 6. Now we have 3x equals 15. What operation is this with a number next to a variable? It's multiplication, so how can we undo that multiplication? Divide by 3. I'm left with x on this side because this becomes what? 3 divided by 3 is 1. 15 divided by 3 equals 5. Third one, what operation are we doing? Subtraction. So how can we undo that subtraction to get x by itself? Add 2. Minus 2 plus, let's add 2 to both sides. Minus 2 plus 2 equals what? Equals 0. So x plus 0 is nothing, it's just x. Then we have 10 plus 2, which is 12. Last one, we have x over 3. What operation does this fraction bar mean? Right, it means division. So how can we undo that division? By multiplying. So I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides. Now I've undone this divided by 3. I'm left with just x equals -6, because a negative times a positive gives you a negative. Okay, so go ahead and finish up those one-step equations on this page. Next, we have some practice with two-step equations, which we'll get right into. All right, for these two-step equations, we're still trying to get x by itself. So before we deal with the things that have to do with x, like this 5, what can we get rid of first? We can get rid of the 9. We undo that addition by subtracting. So if we subtract 9 on both sides, I'm left with just 5x. On the left side, what am I left with on the right side? 34 minus 9 is 25. Now I have a number next to a variable and I need to continue undoing my operations to get x by itself. So what operation does it mean when we have a number next to a variable? Multiplication. What's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So I can divide by 5 on both sides. So that leaves me with x equals 25 divided by 5 is just 5. X equals 5. For our second one, we have 2x plus 1 equals 19. What can I do on both sides? The first thing I can do is subtract 1, which leaves me with just 2x equals 18. And now what can I do? Trying to get x by itself, so I can divide by 2, which leaves me with x equals 18. Hope you guys caught that mistake. X equals 9, because 18 divided by 2 is 9. Try the last problem independently. Now I want to go over 3 more problems from the back side, just because a lot of you guys saw this side of the page yesterday and you said, I don't know how to do this, but you do know how to do this because it's exactly the same one-step equations. So let's look over the first 3 examples. The first one is 25k equals -200. What is our variable? Our variable is k, so we're still trying to do the same thing, just get k by itself. What operation are we doing here? It's multiplication, so how do we undo multiplication? We divide. And so then once you divide, you're left with just k on this side. And then you can use your calculator, and what's negative 200 divided by 25? 8. It's exactly the same solving one-step equations, it just looks a little different. Next we have negative 3p equals 18. What operation is this? Multiplication, so we can undo it by dividing by our coefficient, negative 3. Now we have p equals negative 6. Last one, we have 7j equals negative 63. What's our variable? Our variable is j, and what operation are we doing? Multiplication. So I can divide to get j by itself. I end up with j equals negative 9. And so those are your 3 answers. Oops. For the first 3 questions. I know you guys can solve these on your own, so go ahead and try the other problems on this page, and then you have some square root practice at the bottom. With Miss Mac, you'll be continuing to do 2-step equations. Good luck.